February 23rd, 2011. We're going to deal with lesson 2.1. You guys were to define these points and copy down the diagram and key concepts and the third bullet. Yes. So, we're going to work with example number 1 out of your textbooks. Example 1, it is on, yes, page 60. Thanks, guys. They've given us a line, 2 coordinates, and a line connecting them. So our first coordinate, we're going to alter it a little because our graph only goes up to 10. Our first coordinate was 3 and 5. So 3 and 5. That'll be point A. You guys are going to have to watch this example because this is not the same as the example in the textbook, okay? I'm going to change these numbers. The next point we're going to have is going to be 8 and 8. That'll be our point B, so it fits on the graph. 8 and 8. Very first thing we're going to do is we're going to try to find a midpoint of a line. So we'll get a line connecting this. There's our line. We need to find the midpoint, okay? There are 2 equations you guys can learn to find the midpoint. I'm going to show you the first one. The first one is seemingly easier. Yes. You guys are going to choose which style in your book. Okay, so the very first formula we're going to use, we'll scroll down so it's a little more organized here. x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. That will give us our midpoint. So what that means is we need to find these points A and B. One of them needs to be our x1 and y1, and one of them needs to be our x2 and y2. So we'll call point A our 1s, and we're going to call point B our 2s, which means x1 is 3 and x2 is 8. So let's redraw this here. It's going to be divided by 2, divided by 2, and plus in between. Yep, just substitute the numbers in. So x1 is 3. No, not really. And y1 is 5. So do them in red, just like point A. x2 is 8 and y2 is 8. That works out nice. 8 and 8. So we plug our numbers in, and we just carry out the rest of this equation. 8 and 3, 11 over 2, and 13 over 2. Now, because we're working on a graph, Cartesian plane, we're going to want to actually turn this into a decimal so it means something to us. So I'm going to divide 11 divided by 2. We're going to have our 5.5 is our x, and 6.5 will be our y. So what that means is we're going to call it point M. Actually, I'll do it in green so it's a little different. Point M is going to be at 5.5 and 6.5. So if we go up on our graph and take a look at that, 5.5 is roughly here. 6.5 roughly here. They're going to connect out here apparently. Okay. No, this is not the same as the book.
Why'd you put 3 and 5 when it's on 3 and 4? It's on 3 and 4, you put 3 and 4.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to do.
So you put, look, you remember that?
Alright, we just got to fix our line. That's why it doesn't look proper. We didn't quite put A on the right spot. A should have been at 3, 5. So let's do it. Our equation's going to be right. Oh, I don't know how to get rid of that line. We'll do the new line in purple. So it looks a little different.
There you go.
5.5, 6.5, that makes more sense. right there is the midpoint of our line. Sorry about that, guys. Our black line's not the one we're working with. We're working with our purple line. So, essentially, that is one way to solve midpoint of a line. That tends to be the easier of the two ways, okay? I'm going to, hey, there we go. Got rid of that black one. Okay, this is the easy part of the lesson. I'm going to show you the second way to find the midpoint of a line, then I'm going to get you guys to actually practice it.
Do you have to do the second part?
No, you don't, but I'm going to show you because in life it is good to know many different ways. The book gives you another way of solving the midpoint of a line. Option 2, so we're going to call this option 1. Option 2. Option 2, the equation goes like this. X plus run divided by 2.
Oh, shoot.
Y plus the rise
Oh, no, that's way too hard.
divided by 2. So, what we'll do is we'll redo the median. So I'm going to get rid of our green points. And I'll get rid of our purple line here. So we have our 2 points. We'll make this line black so it's a little easier to work with. Hey, that looks so nice. Okay. Now that I've drawn a line, the rise and the run, you guys will have the formula you've learned in grade 9. One way you can look at it if you have a grid is you can turn it into a right-angled triangle, okay? So what that means is I'm going to draw a line across here. From here to this point, should be straight. That's the distance of the bottom of our triangle. And the distance of the height of our triangle.
So that's the rise.
Yes. So I just have to find the distance of those 2 lines. The red line will be our run. The blue line will be our rise. So the distance, we are going from 3 to 8. So the distance of the bottom of the triangle is 5 units. And our rise, we are going from 5 to 8. So the distance of the height of our triangle is 3. Okay? So I've made a right angle triangle right now. I know that that side is 3, this side is 5. So that means my rise is 3 and my run is 5. So I've figured out those 2 numbers. I can now plug them into the equation I have below. Recording. So I have my 2 numbers for the rise and the run, which are 5 and 3. So we're going to plug them in. Sorry, this is x1 and y1. So x1 in this case will be our A. So our A, x1 is 3. So we have 3 plus our run was 5, we discovered, over 2. Our other coordinate, y, was 5, was it? Yeah. y1 was 5, plus we had a rise of 3 over 2. Okay? Now I carry out the equations for those 2 points. Yeah, so this becomes 3 plus, this would be 2.5. We'll do it as decimals. Okay? Just because it's a little easier to work with. And this one's going to be 1.5. So 5 plus 1.5. What that's going to give us is 5.5 and 6.5. The exact same median coordinates.
I like that better. It takes longer than what?
5.5 and 6.5. Exact same median coordinates. So here's our 5.5, 6.5, and they're going to meet probably about there. There's our new median of the line, okay? Now, the reason this works, this is the hard part about this formula. The reason this works is because we chose A as our x1, okay? If I had chosen B as the x1, I would have gotten a coordinate. If I had added the rise and added the run, I would have gotten something out here as the median of the line. Obviously, it would have been incorrect as I graphed it. But if I'm just looking at numbers, maybe be a little hard to tell if that's right. So, you have to understand the idea behind this style. What we are doing with this formula, and we're going to go down and show you again, is we're starting at a point, x1 and y1. That's our A. And we're going in the direction of the other point, B. So I know the direction of the other point is positive. So I'm going to add the rise divided by 2. And I know the direction to B is also positive. So I'm going to add the run over 2. If I was going in a negative direction to B, I'd have to subtract the run over 2. And if I was going down to point B, I'd have to subtract the run over 2. And what I mean by that is when we look at our equation, because I told you we traveled in a positive direction, so we added, a positive direction, so we added. Okay? If I was traveling in a negative direction with the run to B, I would have had to subtract. And if I was traveling in a negative direction for the rise, I would have had to subtract. Okay, so I want you to try page 66, number 1 right now. Try it out. Let's view this whole page. Zoom entire page. So that's what we covered so far. It's all up there. Okay, your answers are right there. If you didn't get those, look over the lesson again, try it. If you did get them, that's great. We're going to move on to the hard stuff.